Haunted by past battles, Sir Kaelan waged war within himself against regret, fear, and pride. His armor dulled not from steel, but from relentless inner turmoil. What if these demons aren't enemies to defeat, but parts of himself longing to be understood? Discover how a simple act of kindness transformed a legendary night, revealing a victory far greater than any battlefield triumph. Sir Kaelan, once a legendary knight, lived in the solitude of his castle, haunted by the echoes of battles past. His body bore scars of fierce encounters, but now a different war raged within him. Regret, fear, and pride whispered in his mind, each a relentless enemy. Regret whispered of lost friends, their faces fading, but their sacrifice never forgotten. Fear spoke of his aging body and fading strength, threatening to render him irrelevant. Pride roared of past glories, making the present feel empty and hollow. Kaelan fought these inner demons with the fiery spirit of a warrior, but his resistance only amplified their power. The voices grew louder, the bitterness deepened, and the loneliness became unbearable. One afternoon, as Kaelan wandered the castle grounds, lost in thought, Lyra, the young groundskeeper, approached him with a hopeful smile, carrying a small sapling. "My lord," Lyra said softly, offering the plant, "would you help me plant this?" "Gumble," Kaelan grumbled. "I used to fell giant oaks. Why waste time on such a tiny, weak thing?" Lyra looked up at him kindly and said, "You don't fight a sapling, my lord. You give it what it needs to grow. Good soil, water, and sunlight." Her words struck Kaelan like a thunderbolt. What if, like the sapling, these voices were not enemies, but parts of himself to understand and nurture? He decided to try a different way. He stopped fighting regret and honored it by sharing stories of the friends he lost, noble warriors and brave souls. Speaking their names kept their memories alive, and in doing so he found peace where there had been sorrow. Regret transformed into a gentle reminder of love and loyalty. He stopped resisting fear. Rather than letting it paralyze him, he addressed it by teaching swordsmanship to the local youth. Every stroke of the blade strengthened not just his body but his purpose, reminding him that even with age he could still give and grow. Fear diminished, replaced by a sense of vitality and contribution. Finally, he stopped battling pride. He channeled it into mentoring Lyra, passing along his wisdom and experience. Watching her grow, eager and determined, filled the emptiness with new meaning. Pride transformed into a source of inspiration and shared accomplishment. Through acceptance and care, Sir Kaelan robbed his inner enemies of their power. He had won his greatest battle, not with sword or strength, but with understanding and kindness toward himself. And in that victory, the legendary knight found not just peace, but a new chapter of life filled with growth, hope, and purpose. The sapling Lyra had given him now stood tall and strong, a symbol of his own transformation. He often sat beneath its branches, watching the seasons change, each one a reminder of the beauty and resilience of life. The castle grounds, once neglected, now flourished under Lyra's care and his guidance. The villagers, once distant, now saw him as a mentor and friend, their lives enriched by his wisdom. He was no longer just a legendary knight, but a beacon of hope and resilience for all who knew him. Lyra continued to tend to the gardens, her heart filled with gratitude for the knight who had shown her the true meaning of growth. She knew that true strength came not from conquering others, but from nurturing oneself and the world around them. And so, the castle, once a symbol of solitude and despair, became a sanctuary of hope and renewal, all because a knight dared to win the battle within. Their story became a legend, whispered among the trees and sung by the birds. Except Joe's. For in the end, the truest victory is not the one fought on the battlefield, but the one won within the heart. And that is a victory worth fighting for every single day. So remember, dear reader, that even in the darkest of times there is always hope for a brighter tomorrow, if you dare to look within and find the strength to heal.